Hello students, I am Shailja Mohta and today learning topic is direct and indirect speech. It is also known as reported speech. Now what is this reported speech? Reported speech is a form of speech used to express what another person has said, often involving a change in a tense. There are two ways of reporting what somebody says. First is direct speech, and the next one is indirect speech. Now, when we say direct speech, when we use direct speech in our writing, we have to take in consider that the exact words spoken must be put inside speech marks, that is the quotation marks. Next, the first spoken word must have a capital letter, and when a new speaker begins, we must start a new line. Now, before learning how to use reported speech, we should understand that we use these speeches, especially in direct speech, the actual words of a speaker are quoted. The exact words of the speaker are enclosed in inverted commas. For example, he said, I am going to school. So he said, comma, inverted comma begin, I am going to school, inverted commas close, full stop. When we talk about the indirect speech, in indirect speech, the actual words of the speaker are changed. The reason for change in actual word is that the actual words have been spoken by the speaker in the past. And that is the reason that why do we use or how we use the reported speech. Now, when we go to the next slide, we see the example over here. The teacher said to Rajesh, comma, inverted comma stop, you have a bright future, full stop, inverted commas close. Now the direct speech is the exact words of the speaker. Now let's check in indirect speech what the speaker has said without using the exact words. Here, the other person is narrating what the speaker had said. So it converts into the teacher told. Said to will turn into told. When they are subject and object both are there, so we have to check that said to will turn into told. That he had a bright future. Again, you is a pronoun that has been turned into he, and have has turned into had. So that shows that other than the inverted commas, other changes are also there. Like, what changes did you notice? First is the omission of comma, and instead of that comma and inverted commas, you have to use the that. Then change of pronoun as you turns into he. Change of tense as the present turn into the past. Next, change of adverb, place or time. Now let's see when we talk about the change in tense. So here, see the present simple tense change into past simple. Present continuous tense change into past continuous, and present perfect tense change into past perfect. Same, the present perfect continuous change into past perfect continuous. And when we talk about the past simple turn into past perfect. Past continuous turn into past perfect continuous. So you can make one liner over here that present turn into past and past turn into past perfect. And when we talk about the future tense, that is also turned into the second form of will or shall. Like will turn into would, will be, that is the future continuous that turns into would be. and future perfect will turn into would have. Now see in the modals, as the future tense words will and shall comes under the modals also. So in modals, see, like for example of can, she said, comma, inverted commas, I can go to the party tonight. And when it turned into indirect, can turns into could. Could is the second form of can. So she said she could go to the party that night. So here, go remains go only, whether it is can or could, because it's a rule of modals. We always use the V1 form in the modals, and tonight turns into that night. Now next one, may turns into might. The kid said, comma, inverted commas begin, we may go to school. The kid said that they might go to school. Other changes. How the pronouns gets changed. In direct speech, I turns into he or she, depend upon the subject. Me turns into him or her, same reason. My to his or her. We to they, us to them, and are into their. When there is a change in adverbs, these things you have to recall, you have to remind, because in this way only you have to turn them, like today turns into that day, these turns into those, now to then, here, there, tomorrow, the next day or the following day, last year to the last year before, tonight, that night, this into that, those into so. When we recapitulate all these things, we can also say that am or is turns into was, are turns into were, do or does turns into did, and with did we use the V1 form. Have or has turns into had. Now let's recapitulate what you have learned in this video. We have learned like there's a change in affirmative sentences, a simple sentence, said to, when there's a subject and object both are there. So said to will turn into told. In interrogative, that said to will turn into asked. And in imperative sentences are those where the order, request, command or advice type of sentences comes. So here instead of said to, you can use these words as per the meaning of the sentence. And the fourth one, the exclamatory sentence. Here also instead of said to, in indirect sentences you can use the word like exclaimed, wished, begged as per the need of the sentence. Now next one, when you're removing the comma and inverted comma, in affirmative sentences you can use that. In interrogative, there are two types of interrogative. One is rhetorical and the other one is WH family. Rhetorical questions are where the answers comes in yes or no. They are which are formed by the helping verbs like is, am, are. So there you can connect the sentences by use of whether or if. And when there is a WH questions, you can connect those sentences with the WH family only. In imperative sentences, you can use to, and in exclamatory, again you are allowed to use that also. Now, how the change? There's a change in sentences. That affirmative sentences, you have to change tense, pronoun, time and place, or the adverb you can say. In interrogative, all the changes will happen, but first of all, you have to turn the sentence into affirmative or the assertive sentence, simple sentence. In imperative, again, there will be change in pronoun, in adverbs, and the tense too. In exclamatory, again, the interrogative or exclamatory turn into assertive first, and then the other changes will appear as we have discussed. So in this video, we have discussed the basic rules of direct and indirect. In the next video, with many examples, the concept will be more clarified. Thank you all.